These days, we really do get just like showered with card reveals. You know, depending on where you live, you either are having lunch when a new card comes out and gets revealed on the Japanese side, or you wake up and you see one, or it's just kind of like towards the evening, you kind of see something new and you're like, oh wow, that's cool, all right, moving on. But sometimes there are those cards that either the reveal is so important to you that it sticks to your memory forever, or just you're doing something else in your life or doing something else during your day, and that moment where the card gets revealed for some reason just lingers in your memory. And for some reason, I have a lot of those. What's up everyone? Today I wanted to essentially just sit down and share a bunch of random memories. Yes, that's the video. I'm literally just sharing random memories. So, what was I doing when this card was revealed is probably the title of this video. And honestly, I went through a list, I went down memory lane and thought about a bunch of cards that most of them mean nothing to me. Most of them are decks I've never even played or touched or cared at all about. But for some reason, I just remember having something taking place in my life where I remember when that card was revealed. So, you know what? Let's just explain. Let's explain with an example. So, for example, back then, in like 2011, cards used to be revealed by the anime very often, and one of the most impactful reveals of all time, in my opinion, is the original The End. So, The End was revealed through the anime. You know, he goes into a cross ride, nobody's ever heard of what a cross ride even is, and then goes like attacks, hits, restands, it's like, oh, Persona Blast, what does that even mean? Cross ride, what does that even mean? And I remember, you know, 15-year-old me was literally laying in bed and watching it on my like second monitor that was like my TV, and I could watch YouTube on it. And back then people would like upload the episodes on YouTube in like, you know, part 1 of 2 sub espanol, you know, and stuff like that. And so I was watching that episode that had just come out with The End's debut, and I was like, oh my god, like I remember I fell out of my bed as I saw that reveal. Like I still remember perfectly just the exact like way I fell out of my bed as I saw The End, and like they did the entire sequence. I was just like, oh my god. But most, you know, most reveals that I remember are from later on in life, no longer in high school, no longer 15-year-old bratty-esque child, little DF, but more, you know, less bratty, still immature, but now legally an adult DF. For example, I also remember Ganslot Zenith for some reason. Ganslot Zenith is a really random card. It's not really something I ever felt attached to. Gold isn't really my clan. It never really was, outside of like Spectral Duke, I guess. And, you know, I don't really have an attachment to Liberators either, or Ganslot as a character, as a unit, as a theme. But for some reason, I still remember going back from school. I think this was like in 11th grade or 12th grade or something like that, so pretty close to graduation. I was going back to school and it was winter and it was snowing really, really hard. And I remember I was walking through the snow, and then like I finally got to my bus stop to take the bus to go back home, and I take my phone and the reveal I see is Ganslot Zenith. And I just remember seeing Ganslot Zenith and then looking up, checking the time of like how much more is left until my bus comes, and then continue looking at it, and then finally putting it down to get on the bus. It's like, it's such a simple memory. Nothing special actually happened. There's nothing special about me going home on a bus on a snowy day from school, because that happened almost every winter. But for some reason, it paired with that Ganslot Zenith reveal, it just felt special, because then I remember like talking to my friends about it, messaging the people at locals like, oh my god, did you see this card? Oh my god, it's so cool. You know, back then we didn't even know where all these reveals came from. We didn't know that there was like Tuesday live streams that Dr. always did. But, you know, that was like a cool aspect that I just like randomly remember, like, oh yeah, that did happen. Another one of like commuting to somewhere. A lot of these are like while commuting for some reason. I remember I was taking, I think I was being driven to the dentist in like, I think early university, when Vortimer Diablo and Spectral Duke Diablo, or whatever the card was called, when those two were revealed, I think side by side as like basically support for the original like Blaster Dark Diablo Legend deck. I remember those were also revealed, and I remember just like sitting there waiting for the dentist like to call my name and like to go in and like, you know, get my teeth fixed. And I always hated the dentist back then, especially. And so it's like, I remember just like being like nervous, but then like at least like the cards, because I played the deck back then too, so I was like, at least like the reveals were like keeping me sane and just like not let me think about the dentist too much. And I just remember like, ah, that was good. One that sits particularly close to heart for me isn't necessarily a card reveal one, but GBT08. So this was Absolute Judgment, I think it was called. So this was a set where like the Fenrir support came out, a lot of the like second versions of strides of the Tri 3 characters came out. So I remember like the Asha and Altmile strides, I think, and just there's so much support in that set. Like Pale Moon was in that set. Like it was, I think, the set with the most amount of clans ever until that point. And a lot of people, I remember, like there was a lot of drama. I remember when that set was revealed, I was taking a train from my university to go back home. But then I remember that that set had come out during my first ever visit to Japan. And it was cool because the reason why I kind of put it in this video over others is because it was like I was going to card shops in Osaka, and I remember like I was reading some cards for the first time ever in the card shop, because they were like commons, like Taro, you know, like cards like that weren't like, you know, commons get revealed usually, like they weren't like revealed especially during like card of the day segments. Usually we would get like the set come out, people open packs, and then the remaining commons get revealed. So I was like reading Taro and like Gelgia or whatever it is, like the grade 1 revelation card. I was reading those like in the shop. And I remember like in the card shop, like in the showcase, I was like reading them, look at all the prices, taking pictures with my phone and everything. And then I went home and I saw a video from I think it was like Team like Science of Vanguard or something like that, who like made a video about, like there was a Japanese video on Twitter of how to do the Wise Man loop. So it was the very first time that the Wise Man loop was invented, and it was a Japanese guy that just like made a video. I think it was by Gungnir actually. So he made a video on how the Wise Man loop works, and then people in the West were basically covering it in English. So I think Science of Vanguard actually basically made a video on like how the Wise Man loops works in English, and just like basically remaking that Japanese video into English. And like I remember that entire thing happened in the same day, and it was just such a nice memory of like remembering I saw those cards for the first time ever in a card shop in Japan, and then I went to the hotel and actually saw them in action. I was like, wow, so like I just found out about these cards, and there's already like a infinite loop about them that's like so crazy, you know? And that was like a really good memory for me as well. For some reason I remember Gancelot Peace Saver being revealed. So that was the Gancelot stride that was kind of accompanying, that was the support of like blasters that was accompanying the Aichi Legend deck that had come out. And I remember, I think that one was revealed when I was like on the way to the movie theater. And the reason why that card in particular is special to me is because like that set was basically the first set that had come out when I was like moving to Japan. So like when I moved to Japan, that set had just come out, Dominate had just come out, and then I think it was the Bermuda Extra Booster with Tiroa and stuff in it. And then like the Tiroa Extra Booster was like another like memory for me. Like I never really enjoyed Bermuda too much, but like the two units I always liked were like Tiroa and Anj, because I thought they actually looked nice and like the playstyle was really cool of those decks. But that's like another one, like those two sets came out at a time that was like special to me. It's like when I moved to Japan for like an actual long time, and it's like that memory feels really important, even though I'm not really attached to any of those cards, neither Gancelot, neither, you know, Tiroa. Somehow in the GZ season, so Vanguard GZ, that's when they kind of started to reveal card effects through the anime a lot again. And it wasn't like that we would get a card reveal first and then it would show up in the anime. No, like here there was quite a few cards that I saw for the first time by watching the anime in my dorm. So I lived in the dorm when I lived in Japan, and we didn't have TVs in our actual like dorm rooms, but there was like a community, like basically like a shared kitchen per floor. So we had like I think 9 or 10 floors in our or maybe more actually, floors in our dorm, and then each floor had about like 9 people living in it, I think. And so basically we shared the kitchen with those 9 people, you know. So like half of them never even went into the kitchen, they never used it, they just like ate out all the time, or they ordered food all the time. And then like some of us would use it, and I was the one that on I think Saturday mornings would be waking up early in the morning, because I think it would be at like 8 a.m. or something, to watch the Vanguard episodes, because I wanted to see those effects for the first time. And the thing was that those episodes would come out on TV in Japan at like half an hour before they would come out on YouTube in English. So I think even now they still do the same thing, where the episode comes out in Japanese first on TV, and then it goes up on YouTube in English half an hour later, and then I think it goes up on YouTube in Japanese another half an hour, if not an hour later. Or at least it was like that back then. And I remember like filming with my phone the episode sometimes to see the card reveal. Like I remember the Purge I actually filmed, because the Purge, like that last wave of Overlord support, was revealed by the anime. Stark was revealed by the anime, Megiddo was revealed by the anime, and Drachma I think was also revealed by the anime. So all those archetypes were basically shown in the anime for the first time, and we had to like just figure out what they did based on what like they showed. So sometimes they wouldn't show the cost, sometimes they wouldn't show some specific thing about the skill, so people would be like piecing together information from the anime episode, and I really love that. That's like one of my favorite things, was like when people would be trying to figure out what cards did based on the anime. I have another random one where I remember I was with some friends. This is again still in Japan, because a lot of my G experience was actually in Japan. I remember like I was in this building called Radio Kaikan. If you want to know, like, if I'm ever referring to Japanese card shops, if you want to actually see them, WCC Kai, World Class Card Fighters Kai, made a video where last year him and Andy, his friend or teammate, walked around Akihabara going to all the big card shops, so you can see all of them. So when I mentioned the Radio Kaikan, you can go watch his video, and towards the very start you'll see what that building is. And so we were on the floor where the Yellow Submarine was. If you don't know, Yellow Submarine is a chain of card shops in Japan, much like how Card Kingdom is. And so we were in the Yellow Submarine, like literally just passing by with a friend, and then we ran into like 3 other friends that were just there together, and they go up to us and they're like, first they're like, hey, and then immediately like, did you see Gridora? And I was like, Gridora who? What? It's like, oh, the new Mega Colony support, like they just revealed it in like the tournament that's happening right now. And I was like, oh really? Like show me. So then like my friend pulls out his phone and shows me, and it was the first time I was like, whoa, it's a card that forces counterblast. This is like something I've wanted to be explored in Vanguard for years now. And I remember like that random meeting in Yellow Submarine in Radio Kaikan in Akihabara with like some friends that instantly were just like, look, it's Gridora. And that was like just random, like out of nowhere. Somehow every time when I never really go to the Yellow Submarine. Every time I'm there, I run into people and something happens. So yeah, that time it was Gridora. Special shout out as well. Like I don't exactly have any memory with this one being revealed, but when Omega Glendios was revealed by the anime, I remember, like, I watched the episode and I can't remember like seeing the episode and like reacting to it at home, but there was a video that you guys can watch where some people in a card shop watch the episode and find out about Glendios' skill for the first time, and you can see their live reaction in that card shop to the card being revealed. It is fantastic. Like, those kind of things are so cool to rewatch right now. Moving on though, I remember in Japanese class, so when I was living, again, still in Japan here, in Japanese class, I remember like I was in class, and the card reveals would happen, I think, at around like 10 a.m., 10:30 a.m. Japanese time. Like, I don't know if they're the same right now, but like basically that was our break in between the 2 periods of Japanese class in university. And I had one friend in that Japanese class that was actually also into Vanguard. And so basically I remember I was sitting in that class, and then we were basically like, the break had just started, and as soon as the break started, I opened my phone and I saw X Gallop. The Bravest Peak X Gallop was revealed, and I was like, X Gallop! So I ran up to my friend, sat down next to him, and we're like, let's translate. So we quickly both like read over it together, and I was like, oh my god, this is so insane. Oh my god, this is so crazy. This is like the best stride DP has ever gotten. Oh my god, that's so insane. Like, that memory is like so strong within me. And from that same set, I remember when Dynexus was revealed as well, because I remember I was in queue for the Grand Blue Fantasy Fest. So that's basically like a huge con dedicated to the mobile game Grand Blue Fantasy that I personally really like. And I remember like I was in the queue for that one, and like while I was waiting for hours in that queue to get into the venue, Dynexus was revealed. And I remember just like everyone else was like bored, like standing around me, and I was just there like heavy breathing, like D-Robo support, heavy breathing, you know? And I like those, like the Stargate memories are really strong for me as well, especially with the DP related cards. Speaking of Stargate, one more. For some reason I remember like when the Deleter cards were revealed, like the Deleters got one grade 3 and a stride. When those 2 were revealed, I was like walking back from university to my dorm and like passing by the 7-Eleven and like buying something. And I just remember perfectly well, it was a sunny day. I was just about to get into the courtyard of our dorm, and like right then and there, I looked at my phone and Deleters were revealed. Like, it's those completely random memories that like you don't even do anything special, but I just remember the weather, everything that was happening that day, but then there was like that Deleter reveal, and I just remember it just like that. All right, this is the final one. I don't have too many with V-Series because a lot of them like I watched from home, or I just like watched on stream, so you guys know my reveals, like my reactions to them and stuff anyway. But I remember that the Chronojet Dragon Z and Dragfall Luard were both revealed during Worlds. Actually, it was the first time that we were streaming Worlds and I was commentating, and the one break I managed to catch while they were streaming by Schwartz, I actually was like watching the stage myself, because that was still like the Japanese stream was going on. They were like commentating a separate tournament basically, and then in the Japanese stream they showed Chronojet Z and Dragfall Luard. I remember a lot of the World's players like huddling over to the screen, and then like nobody spoke English, so they like would ask me like, so what does it do, and I was like translating like as they were showing it. I was like, oh my god, these cards are so good. And I remember then like after Worlds ended, like talking to my Japanese friends about them after the tournament, and we were just like, wow, these cards are amazing, like it's gonna be so game changing. So yeah, those are honestly like some of those memories that like some, like when I'm talking about them now, they sound so insignificant, right? There's like such random events, like just going somewhere, being somewhere, like something happening with a person, like they're all so insignificant. But years later, like it's been 3 to 8 years since some of those cards were revealed, and the memory of them is still so damn strong. And it's like, there really must be something special about them for them to still be in my memory after all this time. So honestly, I invite you guys to share your memories with some of these cards that you just have random memories of them being revealed in the comments as well. I've already kind of done this on Twitter before, and people said like, oh yeah, I remember like this being revealed in a regional, or this happening while I was traveling and stuff like that. So let me know in the comments as well, like what kind of cards were revealed that you have just complete random but special memories of that still stick with you to this day. On that note though, that's gonna be it for me today, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.